What is the living costs and expenses in UAE or Dubai? I've got this question hundreds and thousands of times. If you want to know about how much you spend on accommodation, transportation, utilities, and childcare in the UAE, you might want to watch this video right till the end. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are watching us for the first time, I'm Agbo Fiona, a registered nurse from Cameroon working in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. On this channel, we provide information about your nursing licensure journey to Dubai and all other Emirates in the United Arab Emirates. And you have a Fiona Care consultancy that facilitates this journey for you. We also talk about interview tips and many other things. In case you're interested in knowing more about this, you might want to subscribe to our channel so you will not miss any of our updates. In this video, we are going to tackle 4 main expenditures in the UAE because these are the biggest things. If you have these taken care of, then you'll be able to live comfortably. So we are going to talk about the accommodation, about childcare, about transport, and utilities costs in the UAE. These are averages and they are just to give you an idea of how much you spend when you come into UAE. So without so much ado, let's start with accommodation. You need to have a comfortable place to place your head without stress from landlord or neighbors before you can be okay in a foreign land. So with respect to accommodation, it depends on where exactly you live. In the heart of UAE, the center of Dubai precisely, it's usually a bit more expensive. But if you go a bit closer to the suburbs, it will be a bit cheaper. So there are 3 main kinds of accommodation. You have private accommodation, meaning you're living in your own flat or villa without sharing anything with anybody. You have the second type of accommodation is semi-private accommodation. In this accommodation, you share either a washroom, that's a bathroom, or a kitchen with others, but you have a room or a partition to yourself. And the third kind of accommodation, and the most popular, is the bed space, which is a general accommodation. So with respect to the private accommodation, if you're living in the heart of Dubai, the center, the area with so much connection to the rest of the city, you would spend about 4,000 to about 5,000 dirhams for a 1-bedroom apartment per month. This is equivalent to about 1,100 to about 1,500 US dollars per month. If you have a family and you want to take a bigger space, like a 3-bedroom apartment in that same center, it might cost about 6,500 to about 7,834 dirhams per month. This is equivalent to about 1,769 to about 2,132 US dollars per month. If you don't want to spend so much in the center, you can go to the areas which are a bit far away from the center, and there you can get a bedroom apartment for about 2,500 to about 3,500 per month. This is equivalent to about 680 to 953 US dollars per month. If you want a bigger space, 3-bedroom apartment also, it might cost about 5,000 to about 6,500 dirhams per month, which is equivalent to about $1,000 to about $1,300 per month. That's it for a private accommodation, which you share with nobody. For a semi-private accommodation, where you might be sharing a toilet, that's a washroom, or a kitchen, it ranges from about 800 dirhams to about 3,000 dirhams. And this semi-private accommodation can be a partition, which is like half of a room, or a full room. The room might have a bathroom attached or not. So this costs about 800 to about 3,000 dirhams, equivalent to about 408 to about $808 per month. Now, about the general accommodation, which is the most popular, bed space. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about bed space. So a bed space is basically a room with bunk beds, that's beds that have 2 or 3 levels, separated by blinds. in them. So each person owns a bed. You own either the lower part of the bed, the middle part of it, or the uppermost part of the bed. So this is more popular because it is cheaper, it's more affordable, and it's a good start for those who are just coming into Dubai. So it can have about 8 to 15 persons in it, depending on how big it is and how it is organized. So a bed space might cost approximately 300 to about 700 dirhams per month. This is equivalent to about 82 to $190 per month. A good thing with the bed space is that the bed space usually includes bills and utilities. So most often the amount you pay for the bed space covers your water bills, light bills, Wi-Fi bills. So these are usually included in the amount of money you pay for the bed space. The bed space price ranges, the price is affected by the number of persons in the room. If there are fewer persons in the room, it will be a bit more expensive. Also, it varies according to the size of the bed. If you get a bed space with a bigger size of the bed, you pay more for that. Also, the price you pay varies according to the layer of bed you take. Yes, if you are on the lowest floor, on the bed on the floor, the first floor of the bed, you pay higher than someone who is bunking you, than someone who is up. So those are the factors that affect how much your bed space might cost you here in the UAE. So with respect to the second expenditure type we should be thinking about in the UAE, we are going to talk about utilities. When you pay for your accommodation, you need to pay for your utilities. So the utilities here basically include electricity, water, cooling, sewage, Wi-Fi. So with respect to the electricity, heating, the basic utilities for short, it might cost about 546 dirhams per month for one person or two persons, depending on how you live and where you live anyways. But if you have a bigger family, it will definitely go up above that. If you're in the general accommodation, which is a bed space, you don't have to worry much about this because it's usually taken care of in the amount of money you pay. So this is approximately equal to about $149 per month. So it depends on your consumption rate, how many of you are in the room, and also the size of your house here. For the internet, it costs about 373 dirhams per month. This is equivalent to about $102 per month. And this internet depends on the choice of internet you take. The prices vary with respect to which internet option you want. So this is just an average. With respect to transport fare, this is very important because you need to pay transport to go to work, you need to pay transport to go look for a job, you need to pay transport to go attend interviews. So it is very, very important. So there are three main types of transport means in the UAE, in Dubai. You have a taxi, you have a bus, that's Road Traffic Authority bus, RTA bus, and the metro or the train. The taxi, it's usually it's more expensive. It's not a bit, it's more expensive because it charges you, the taxi driver charges you with respect to meter coverage. So depending on how far you go, you pay more. You don't have a fixed price. Depending on how far you go and how free the road is, if you have lots of traffic, you definitely pay more. So the charge is about $5 per meter coverage. So depending on how far you go, that's how you will pay. This is equivalent to about $1 per meter coverage. For the taxis, there are normal taxis whose rates start at $5 dirhams, sorry. There are others that are a bit more expensive, like the executive ones or those from the airport. They cost much more than that. Some of them, their meter coverage starts from 10 dirhams and others, meter coverage starts from 12 dirhams. So depending on the kind of taxi you take, the standard taxis, their meter coverage starts from 5 dirhams, which is equivalent to about $1.5 per meter coverage. There are executive taxis which cost more than that. For executive taxis, their meter coverage is from about 10 to about 15 dirhams per meter coverage, which is equivalent to about $2 to about $2.5 per meter coverage. For the bus, the RTA bus and metro, they have a single system in Dubai. They are run using null cards. You don't pay cash for the buses or the metro. You need to get a null card. That card helps you to access the bus and the metro services. So you load your null card with cash and you tap your null card in on getting on the bus and tag it out on getting out of the bus. Same with the metro. So the same null card you use for the bus is what you use for the metro. And each journey costs 3 dirhams. That's about $1. So depending on how far you're going, if you go into different zones in Dubai, you spend more. But the maximum fare is 7.5 dirhams. That's the longest distance you can cover, is 7.5 dirhams per coverage. If you don't want to pay daily, you can also choose an option for paying monthly, which will cost about 300 dirhams, which will help you accessible to all the zones. This is 300 dirhams equivalent to about $82 per month for your transportation per month. But the month here is counted as 28 days. It's not 30 days. So that's how the transport system works. A lot of people, a lot of us, we take the bus and the metro because it's fairly cheaper and it's much more accessible to us. For the taxis, they are a bit more expensive, so most often people take it when they are really running late or they are running late for an interview for work or something. Now we are going to talk about childcare. The childcare here, we'll talk about nurseries and schools. For the nurseries, you pay monthly. Nursery is where you can keep your child from morning till evening, depending on the particular nursery and their standards. So you keep your child from morning to evening and you pick them up in the evening. So it costs about 1,800 to about 3,000 dirhams per month, depending on which nursery your child is attending. So the nursery or daycare, as we call it back home, costs about 1,600 to about 3,000 dirhams per month. This is equivalent to about 435 to about 816 US dollars per month. So you have to choose between paying this every month to the nursery your child wants to attend or getting a nanny for yourself. You have to weigh the two. For school, the primary school, it might cost about 8,000 dirhams to as high as 65,000 dirhams per year. So this is a yearly fee you pay, and you pay instrumentally. So this is equivalent to about 2,178 to about 17,700 US dollars per year. So for the schools, they are divided into different curricula. You have the British curriculum, you have the American curriculum, you have the Indian curriculum. So the curricula here, you have the British, I mentioned British already. So the school you want your child to attend will depend on what curriculum you want your child to go to study in, and it also depends on the cost if you can afford. So this is basically what you would spend if you come to the UAE with maybe your kids and all the likes. So many people ask if they can come with their kids right away. I would say it depends on you. You can weigh the pros and the cons. But one thing you must take into account is this. When you come into UAE, there is no permanent residency which will cover you and your kids. No. So if you come to UAE, you have to get a work visa or a tourist visa to come here. So if you don't get a job and you want to come with a tourist visa, when you come with your tourist visa, you need to find a job. The job needs to provide you with an employment visa or a residence visa. The other name for an employment visa is the residence visa. So this employment visa is what will help you to sponsor your kids or dependents under you. And in order to be eligible to sponsor your dependents under you, you need to earn at least 4,000 dirhams per month. That's about $1,100 per month. If you come and you are not earning that amount of money, sorry, you cannot sponsor your dependents under you. It's not possible. So you must have your employment visa contract, which is showing that you're earning at least 4,000 dirhams, and you must have your Emirates ID in order to be able to sponsor your dependents under you. In case you have lots of money and you're really comfortable, you can make a freelance visa for yourself, which is valid for about 2 or 3 years, depending on how much you spend on the freelance visa. So with a freelance visa, you can sponsor your kids under you as well. Also, you have to take into consideration accommodation issues. You cannot bring your kids and you're staying in a bed space. So you definitely want to take a room or a partition or a one-bedroom apartment. In order to be able to rent an apartment directly from the owner or from a housing company, you need to have a valid bank account. You need to have an Emirates ID. That you should be a permanent resident here. You must have an Emirates ID, and definitely you must have a visa to show that you are living here legally. So these are the options you must fulfill in order to be eligible to rent an apartment from the owner or from the company. Otherwise, what most people do, they rent from someone who has rented from the company because they do not have all these requirements. So if you come new, you might probably want to rent from someone who has already rented an apartment. You might take a room from that apartment or a partition, depending on what you're looking for. I think that's basically what the expenditures of living in the UAE is all about. Let me know in the comments if I was able to clear your doubts, and let me know, what do you think? Should you bring your dependents with you immediately you're coming to the UAE, or do you want to come first, get settled, then bring them over? Another thing you should mind is that if you come with your kids, if you come with your dependents on a tourist visa, and after 3 months you do not get a job, definitely you will not be able to sponsor them under your visa. So you have to do a visa change for yourself and for your dependents. So you must do a visa change for all of you, so that it can grant you more time to get a visa for yourself and then sponsor them under you. Mind you, if you don't do the visa change, you enter into overstay and you start accumulating fines, which is what I'm sure you do not want. So let me know what you think is the best option for you. I don't want to decide for you, but I've given you the options, so you should decide and make up your mind on what exactly you want. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope I was able to answer lots of your questions. Let me know if you learned 1 or 2 things in the comments. Let me know what you think about expenditures in the UAE. Even though it's expensive, it all depends on how you manage your expenditures personally, I would say. Because it all depends, I would say. Yeah, it all depends. If you want to cut down expenditures, you can do it as much as possible, as much as you can, by, if you don't want to spend so much in the center, you might want to go to a more quiet area, which is a bit farther from the center, but you have to pay lots of transport to go to your job site. So it all depends on you, but it's doable. Lots of Africans are here, so don't think it's undoable. It's doable for sure, especially when you have a job in your hands. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Stay connected with us, hit the notification icon so that whenever we post a new video, you will be the first to be notified. Thank you so much, and remain blessed. I remain Agbo Fiona. See you in my next video. Bye bye.